All
I
right,
can try to get a tweet off. Yeah.
all right. We are now live with the Survivor Michigan after show with some very special guests, and there will be one more joining us as well. So, what did you guys think of that crazy episode? Or do you guys want to introduce yourselves? I mean, you really go without no introduction needed, but maybe if people have forgotten who you are.
Hey,
Maggie, I'll let you go first. Yeah.
I'm Maggie. Season 2.
And I'm Mr. Tokidoki, a proud member of the Tokidoki tribe and the Maison tribe as well. So here to defend every single decision production made in All Stars. Not really though. But yeah, excited to talk about an awesome final 6 episodes. So
Yeah.
So, Maggie, I guess I'll start with you. What did you make of this? The downfall of Bailey, your homie, your girl.
Yeah, it's tragic. But I feel like it's always better to be blindsided.
What's
Like
good?
Hey.
Oh my god, this is awesome. By the way. I've heard a lot about you guys. It was good.
Nice to meet you.
Shit, dude, great episode. Sorry, Maggie, keep going.
No. Go ahead.
Honestly, that was an amazing episode. I'm pulling up my notes right now. So hold up, just getting started. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, to start, there's a lot of different aspects of this. You know, this was one of the most complicated ones for me to edit because for a long time I was genuinely very confused on, especially like Crouch's point of view. Like, it took me a long time to really understand this like 2-2-2 plan that they were being pitched and like why they believed that, and like, yeah, like up to the end, that's what Crouch like thinks is happening. And Bailey, for Bailey, I always thought that it was clear to me because she's just with Leia and Bree, so she like trusts them. I was always more confused in the Crouch angle, but then like after a while of watching the footage, I understood that he's made this final 4 now with like Bree and Bailey and Leia, and this is like now his new plan and stuff. But this is an interesting week where if you rewatch this and you look at each meeting, there's a lot of instances where both sides are lying to each other, and like people are starting to operate, and like every meeting is its own little universe of what you're saying to this person, the lies you're telling them. Everybody's basically promising every person they meet with final 2, final 3, like the lies are the levels of deception are just like layers upon layers deep.
Yeah, I wrote down that like everyone is deranged, like at this point, like especially before Sam got his haircut, like the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, he looks so
like,
tough.
Leia's list is becoming martyrdom. I wrote like the ghost of Adam. That was so dramatic. The idiots. Bree's like, with what votes? Like everyone's just lost it.
Yeah. I also love the idea that coming off of the Adam vote, like everybody in the game thinks that it proves that the other people are dumb. Like you have Cooper, Andrew, Bailey, and Sam all saying, oh, it's everybody else who's dumb. They should have listened to me. Which is just like hilarious to me that's how that pans out. That they all can take away from it that they were right and everybody else was wrong.
It's very, very self-centric view, and I think it, kind of leads into such a good episode this week because, everybody kind of thinks they got out of last week and kind of knew what was going on, and to have 6 people who've been playing the game for 80 days, this is like almost 3 times a normal current new era season. So these people are so invested in it and they spend so much time with each other, and it's such an important week so close to the end. So I think everybody was kind of going full tilt, bringing their A game, and like it's hard to say anybody played this week terrible. A lot of people, like, even when he was wrong, Cooper had some good reads. Like Sam, Bailey, and Leia obviously played this week really well, and like Crouch and Bailey didn't play it terribly. Like everybody played near perfect Survivor this week. It just so happened that Bailey was the one that went home. So
yeah, I think that everybody was playing for like themselves. They were trying to play for the best move for themselves, and I think that it was tough for Bailey that she just didn't. Nobody really anticipated that Leia and Bree would be willing to vote Bailey because the very previous week, Leia, absolutely refused to do that. So I think nobody expected that was something that was really on the table.
Which was awesome, by the way. But I don't want to keep talking and then I'm just like completely just wrong. I had to get up for like 2 minutes, and it was when like I came back and then I saw Bailey like around the corner, the conversation, which is amazing, by the way. If anyone's seen Big Brother 21, it's definitely one of the highlights in that season. And I wasn't sure if it was going to come down to that. I was a little confused. So did Andrew drop the ball? Did Bailey like spiral this into something that it wasn't? Like, I was a little confused what was going on there. So I just want to make sure I understand that before I start spilling shit on my ass.
So I'll be completely honest in that there is an aspect of it that actually confuses even me. But to my understanding, that conversation, actually Sam and Cooper are kind of both lying to each other in that conversation. But from Bailey's point of view, she's hearing them commit to voting for Bree. So Cooper actually isn't lying to Sam. Cooper is telling Sam the truth that he wants to vote for Bree, and he thinks Sam wants to do that. And Bailey hears that and gets freaked out by them voting for Bree, and goes to Cooper and yells at him about it because Bailey wants the backup plan of Bailey wants Cooper to be voting with her, even if like she just wants more votes on Sam. So she's like mad that Cooper is not actually doing that. I think she thought that Cooper was lying and was like pretending he was going to vote Bree, but was really going to vote Sam. And that conversation is like making her think that no, Cooper actually is voting for Bree. And then so she goes and yells at Cooper because that's like what Bailey does. And then she tells Andrew this, and Andrew's freaked out because Andrew feels like he feels like Bailey should know that Cooper was voting Bree because that's what Andrew had been telling Bailey was going to happen. So he doesn't understand why she's freaked out by it. It's clearly a breakdown in communication somewhere between like Andrew and Bailey, and like this is all happening in like a day. So then Andrew has to go to Cooper, but Andrew going to Cooper, trying to tell Cooper, he tells Cooper what the plan actually is, but the way he tells it to him is like, oh, but we're not doing this. But that makes Cooper confused why this is even being discussed, because Cooper is somehow Cooper of Andrew, Bailey, and Cooper is really the one who is like, I feel like Sam, Bree, and Leia are just voting together. That made that conversation. So Bailey overhearing that leads to Cooper realizing this.
Alternate universe where it's Bree who hears that instead, and then all hell breaks loose.
I don't understand. Like, on one hand, I'm surprised people don't overhear conversations more often. On the other hand, it's a gigantic campus, and like that was when I discovered that footage that we had both angles of this conversation. You could literally like hear from Bailey's angle, like
synced it up perfectly too,
being muffled. That was like one of my favorite things ever. I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe this footage exists.
When there was the gap between like what happened, like her overhearing it and us knowing what she was going to do about it, I was dying. I was like, damn, like Bailey didn't confront them right then. I'm like, I'm so proud of her. This is big. And she just apparently like didn't say anything, but I was like,
yeah, I could have totally seen her just storming in.
I was like, wow, that's impressive.
It's like, I want to ask you a question based off just like the editing style and stuff like that. Because I was listening to the Live Reality podcast like last week or whatever when you were on, and he mentioned about like how he's like, oh, I don't like when you like have like a confessional during voting and stuff like that. When you go like to the test screenings and stuff like that, where people are like, hey, look, I feel like this is kind of coming out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. Because I was a little bit like, oh shit, okay, here we go, it's Bailey. As soon as I saw Leia and only her head, I was like, it's definitely Bailey here.
Well, I went back and forth on it because on one hand, I was worried I oscillated between being worried it was too obvious it was Bailey and thinking that it also comes a little bit out of nowhere from a character standpoint that Leia and Bree are just willing to vote Bailey here. And at one point in time, I actually had a longer Leia confessional like during the voting thing, like when it flashed back to her giving her rationale, but it just totally killed the pacing. And I decided that like her one sentence is like enough in this moment. We can get more explanation on it in the next episode. But like more or less, we understand that the core of it is that Leia the last week is like willing to like let herself go home over like her morals, Leia's list strategy, but she's not willing to let other people, like she's not willing to tank Sam's game over that. And ultimately voting Bailey was the smartest move for them as a group because they knew that Cooper wasn't going to play an idol. Cooper and Andrew weren't expecting that. Nobody was expecting that. Cooper was only considering playing the idol on himself or on Andrew because Cooper only, like Leia says, Cooper only sees the Girls Alliance. He like, despite Sam choosing Leia over Adam the previous week, people still don't really seem to have clocked that Leia and Sam are like really tight in the game. And Cooper is mostly focused on the Girls Alliance and terrified of that and does not believe that any of the girls would vote for each other, especially after the previous week. So they can utilize that and manipulate Cooper like against him.
He does like, I mean, he clocks like the Sam part of it that like Bree and Leia and Sam are super close, but like he gets like half of it and kind of realizes that they're not actually like letting Bree go home or letting Sam go home and that they're gonna vote together, which is true, but he just assumes Bailey's kind of in there as well as like a loose fourth. So like he gets half the picture and is like, that's a really good read, but he can't quite kind of, finish it and, really kind of see through what the plan is. So
yeah. Cooper like had them out thought, but they had him out thought one step deeper, you know? I do wonder though, because Cooper going to Sam and being a little concerned about this kind of tips them off. And I do wonder if he hadn't done that, would they have just voted Andrew? Because the plan was to vote for Andrew most of the week and tell Cooper it's going to be him, and Cooper plays the idol on himself, and then we vote off Andrew. And I wonder if Cooper had not freaked Sam out at all, if they would have stuck to that and just voted Andrew, and Cooper would have played the idol on Andrew. I don't know.
I think, Ian, you can maybe refresh my memory, but I think there was, and I don't know if maybe Cooper could have gone down this route, but like telling Sam that the idol expired at 6. Like, do you think it would have been more helpful if he tried to play it that it expired at 5 to make them think Cooper knows he's screwed next week? He's going to hold on to it. Like, most likely he's going to hold on to it. B, he's going to play it for himself, and C, he's going to play it for Andrew. So like, let's just play Andrew. It's the least likely option. But when he kind of made it known, I am playing it this week, it expires, they were like, all right, could play it for Andrew. Let's do the safe option.
Yeah, I don't know. I
feel
could see
like
that.
it was smarter. Like I didn't remember if his was 6 or 5, but to me, the fact that it was 6, right? Like,
Yes,
but if
so.
I had one that was 5, I might fake it that it's 6, so then people think even more you're playing it, because otherwise it's a waste.
Right, because I think he did kind of want them to think he was playing it so he could get the correct idol play once he had kind of decided, I need to play it this week. I want them to vote for me or Andrew. And like, I mean, the guts to actually play it, not on yourself at Final 6, is pretty impressive. Like, if that would have worked, like, insane move, you know, and still like, you know, the guts to do it, but, you know, just crazy that it didn't work out.
Whose idea was that for Final 6 idol? So is there going to be a Final 5 idol? Are we going to see like a Ben run? What's going on here?
Is there a new idol? I can't remember.
Well, we'll see, I guess. But
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
But damn. Yeah, I didn't realize it was a Final 6 idol until he pulled out the paper, and I was like, oh, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, so, I forgot when we made it. I think we had them all, because originally when we started,
I think they were all set for Final 6. I'm pretty sure.
Because we didn't want
Cooper like typed one up, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's genius!" Now we can just whip it out.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That would have been smart. That would have been smart. I wouldn't put that past Cooper, but
I was like, "That's brilliant." Yeah, like I have to play it this week.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Why is
that's
it
what
so
Dale did in season
crumpled?"
4?
Yeah.
I think it was just crumbled because it had been out there for so long. Like I think
that made me like, oh, it's fake. Like he's lying.
What do you guys think about the Boys Alliance, the Nighthawks, short lived?
Oh, is
30
that
minutes, maybe?
Is that a Step Brothers reference?
I don't know. Maybe.
I wanted to ask.
Maybe.
I mean, technically they all still survive, so maybe the Nighthawks comes back at Final 5, but you know, who knows.
Well, Ronan, what did you think about like who was playing this week the best, or like strategy wise? How did you feel like it was going?
God, I mean, it's Leia who called the shot this week, right? I mean, we got the Sam confessional, but it's Leia that called the shot with the Bree, Leia, Sam conversation, right? Am I missing that?
I mean, I feel like it's sort of it's slightly up to interpretation on who's calling the shots necessarily.
It's either Leia or Sam for sure. I mean, that's what I took away from it. I have a tough time, and I don't care if people get mad at me for this. I have a tough time being behind Bree for her gameplay a little bit. You know, I just can't. What was she like? I don't care what people think about me at the end. I was like, obviously you don't, because I don't know if people are gonna vote for you in the end either. So, I'd give it to either Leia or Sam. Yeah.
I think it was, I mean, I guess like each of the three had a role to play. Like Sam's job was to get Cooper not to vote with Bailey and Andrew. Like Sam did that. Leia's job was to basically get Bailey not to vote with Cooper and Andrew. And
Leia pretty much worked Crouch and Bailey.
And Breeze like was kind of to get Cooper to play the idol for himself, which really didn't work, but that wasn't like the key part of the plan. Like they had a fail safe. So like, you know, yeah, I agree. Like Sam and Leia, they both did a really good job splitting that 3 up and always voting together. So
yeah, I mean the fact that Leia and Bree had Crouch and Bailey convinced that they were like going to go to a Final 4 together and get rid of Sam this week and Cooper the next. Like, I guess it kind of makes sense if you're Bailey, because Bree and Leia have been with her the whole game. But I really don't understand why they think that Bree and Leia would be fine voting Sam out this week. It's never been super clear to me. Besides the rationale of like they feel their arguments were backed into a corner. We don't have a choice but to vote off Sam, I guess. But just knowing Leia and like if Sam saved her like that, I just feel like knowing how Leia had played the game, how could you believe Leia was willing to vote Sam the very next week? That just seemed crazy to me at the time, and still kind of seems crazy to me. but like it happened. And I think it does go to show just like how good Leia, Bree, and Sam worked the others this week. Like they really just outfoxed them, honestly. Don't fuck with Leia at Final Six. Let me tell you, in both season 1 and All Stars, Final Six is pretty much a 3-3, and Leia's alliance runs circles around the other alliance and gets them to do something stupid. And so, yeah.
I do love the concept that like, well, okay, let me back up for a sec because I hate Leia's list. The last time I was on, I expressed it. I bet Leia's a great person. I know she's a great person, but on the show, I know I'm not the only one saying this. It's very frustrating, but in a way, honestly, like I love the way that it kind of worked out for her this week. Yeah, you're right. They had no fucking idea it was gonna be Bailey. They just kept putting on pressure on Cooper. Oh, Cooper, Andrew. Cooper, Andrew. And I am cool with the fact that this worked out for Leia and Sam. Even though I'm not a Leia fan, I'm cool that this worked out. If this was our plan the whole time, like, yo, I'm gonna make this list. I want to make this this structure that people know I'm not gonna break, and then I'm gonna break at the end. If she said this from the get-go, great. I think it's great gameplay. But the fact that it's like she just had to make this decision this week and she really didn't want to, I don't know.
I mean, what do we think about this? This is the first time that Leia has blindsided somebody on the list. Because like Cooper, they've kind of been slowly gunning for each other. But this is like a straight blindside of one of the Leia's list people that she said she would never vote off. So like, do we think that Bailey will I don't know, how do we think Bailey takes that?
Was Bailey a late ad or she was always on it?
No, she was an OGer. She was like on it from the beginning. I don't know. Maggie, what do you think about Leia's list and just the season as a whole? You know, we haven't really heard your thoughts yet.
I don't know. I feel like it makes sense for her. It's very cutthroat. This is how I'm doing it. I don't care what you think. So yeah, I feel like it's kind of expected.
I want to read this thesis, bro.
Can I be like actually, the last thing that you post? I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, no, she told me that we can post it after the season's over.
I think that's amazing.
She said I think that she like doesn't remember if there's spoilers in it or not, because like I don't think she really talked about Survivor Michigan that much. She mostly was talking about Real Survivor, but she was like, just in case there's anything in there that like, you know, reveals anything about what happens, you guys can just post it after the season. She was like, yeah, I want people to read it, obviously. Spend a ton of time working on it. So
good for her.
What did surprise me is that she was wearing that Where's Waldo t-shirt from Victoria's Secret Pink, because I just cannot picture her walking into that store to buy that shirt.
You know what I hate about that shirt is that like Leia's wearing that shirt in a lot of this episode. And then this is also the episode where Michigan plays Ohio State, and that shirt is like red and white. So like the whole time I was just like, yo, you couldn't have worn a different shirt the week we were playing Ohio State. Like, what the fuck? We lose to Ohio State, and then Leia decides to throw on some like red and white shirt. I do not understand that at all.
Sounds like Tom. I mean,
yeah. Look forward to the bonus scenes. There is a really exciting when the bonus scenes finally come out for this episode. Tom actually came by during the challenge and was heckling Leia, and there's some great Leia versus Tom content. So stay tuned for that at some point.
She's just like, who is this?
So what's the pulse on Leia in the Survivor community right now? I'm curious.
Her popularity went up after last episode.
Yeah, she won the fan favorite this past week. I feel like people hated her for a long time, but now there's like a begrudging like respect. Like there's like I don't know, Ronan, maybe you could speak.
I don't think people hate her. No, we don't hate her. It's a reality TV show. Someone brought this up a few podcasts ago. Like they didn't realize how big this was gonna be when it was happening. Like Maggie, I bet you did not realize how big like that season was gonna be and your character, and how it kind of inspired me to cast a Maggie on my Survivor as well. Like people didn't realize the impact it was gonna be on. I just want to say, don't hate Leia, okay? I don't want Leia to find me. She could definitely kick my ass.
That is something I wonder about her.
It's just an all-star season, man. It's just an all-star season, and I think there's just so much hype coming into the season. And Ian, I think you did a great job in everything. And it is just something that College Survivor, I feel like, always kind of struggles with. And it's just not necessarily pregame, but just the voting blocks of friends. And I don't know. I definitely understand to a degree, but it also is interesting because it's definitely a different kind of season of Survivor, that it's just these friends going at it. Like it's true feelings and true heartbreak, and that's what's really intriguing about it. But
yeah, I mean, I thought especially once we get down to these like last couple episodes that the dynamic between all the different people is like very deep and very unique. And you can see that like it's like this ever shifting sort of dynamic where like from the Emily B vote to this vote, the same group has not voted together. Like each vote, it's always been a slightly different group of people that like had the numbers, and it's like a weird, constantly shifting thing. And on top of that, just like the Leia and Cooper scenes at this point, where it's like in like they like can't hang out, like it's just awkward to hang out basically, and they're explaining that these people care so much about Survivor, and like this was like like Cooper, especially this was like his main thing in college, right? Like was being host of Survivor Michigan. Survivor Michigan was like his thing. He was like the Survivor guy. So like if you're Leia and this is one of your best friends, on a core level, there is something fucked up about the idea that you're spending most of your time trying to take what you know is like the most like winning Survivor Michigan would mean everything to Cooper, like in the entire world, And so working harder and harder to take that from him is like there is something kind of diabolical about it and like really messed up that I think is interesting, and you don't usually see that like discussed as openly in reality TV.
I feel like because I've talked to some of the players obviously a lot after this, and I don't know, like it's been interesting because I like know what happens, but I didn't know exactly how because I wasn't around and I didn't produce it. So it was interesting because I came into it like, oh yeah, they're all friends working together. And like, oh, I can see how there's this advantage because if I know Nick and I know how Nick reacts, then I can pitch something to Nick in a way that I think that he'll receive it. But like the more that I've talked to people, I've actually like changed my mindset on that because it makes it even more of this like psychology game because then you're like anticipating how Nick to react because you know him. So you have to like jump even further to figure out like how to pitch things to people because of like all of that, like I don't even know, like manipulation of one another is just like even deeper because you know each other even deeper.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been saying all along is that like this season pushed the lines of what's acceptable morally to it. Like, where is the line? I'm not going to answer. I don't think anyone really knows. Like, is the line what Cooper and Leia are doing, where they're like, there's this deep level of mistrust between them and all this kind of stuff? Is that more fucked up? Is like Megan lying to Sam and having fake conversations about a breakup that never happened? Like, how messed up is that? Like months before the season happens, there's all kinds of different things like that, and I feel like no one really knows where the line is, and it's like, like Will and Kevin's friendship was ended because of this game, and it's just like,
this is my hot take on the Megan and Jackson thing is like, what you thought you were just never like you just thought you could walk into the game with it all like an advantage like that. Like I think they kind of got what they deserved.
I feel bad for them.
Is your argument that like everybody else's relationships were known? Like it's not like it was a secret that Leia and Cooper were buddies or whatever.
I just mean it's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna hide it so we have this advantage. It's like that's a selfish move. Like I get it, but it's like, okay, like you guys get to just like have that and then you're pissed when it comes out. It's my take.
But you might get some hate for that take, but I don't know.
It's okay.
Matthew, how do you I know Matthew, you felt really bad about that whole
thing,
no,
right? I mean I think it was smart to try to hide it, I guess. I mean
it is, but it's still like what you just think you just get to have that advantage.
I mean, I guess we kind of ruined it for them, but not on purpose. Obviously, it was
this season. What they were up against, they kind of needed the advantage, if anything.
I mean, like did it help them? Like it.
I stand by it. Helped Jackson's game when it came out
a little bit.
I mean, stand by that. Yeah. It hurt Megan's game. I think it helped Jackson's game. I mean, I just think that once people knew Jackson and Megan were connected, people had a reason to work with Jackson because they liked Megan, but they didn't like Jackson. So like knowing they could pick up two people for the price of one, people wanted to work with them. But before that, nobody wanted to work with Jackson. So I think it helped Jackson. Megan, it didn't help Megan.
But I mean, it's just funny that like everybody was scared about that pair once they found out about it, kind of because they've been hiding it, but like the most obvious pair going into the game, like clearly the most powerful pair is like Cooper and Leia. Like if you've been around Survivor Michigan, they're super tight. Like anybody who thought, oh, like that's not that big a deal, like maybe they'll vote each other. Like sure, they kind of turn each other at some point, but people just let them amass so much power and we're just so scared to target them and just like accepted the fact that
Yeah, I think
we
that
have to deal with Cooper,
people
who won't vote
created the
Leia.
exact scenario they wanted to avoid in a lot of ways. It's not like there was never opportunities to take out these people, because there 1000% was. Like in the pre-merge, there was the chance for any kind of different things to happen than what did happen. And I think in a lot of different choices, people chose the easy route out. Voting out Jesse was the easy route when they had a clear shot at Leia and totally should have taken her.
Do you guys think people feared more Leia's, like how Leia would react if Leia got targeted more, or her being loyal to the list? Because if it were me knowing Leia, I would be like, I just don't want to target Leia because I don't want to deal with that. Like,
so the list wasn't like a formalized thing that was known about until like the merge, right? So like before that point, I think it was just a general fear of the power of Cooper and Leia, of like going after, and also that like personality wise, like I think Jesse talks to this one that like what you're saying, that like, on a literal level, it's like if you like suggest going after Leia and don't get her out, you're like fucked. And Will, I think, describes voting off Cooper. I think it's in one of the bonus scenes, but he talks about it as like survivor suicide. Like if you suggest that and it doesn't happen, you know.
But everybody's thinking it though. Like
everybody wants to do it, you know, but like nobody has the balls to say it.
I think that is like the most frustrating thing. But the thing, you said exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, if I'm ever gonna go after Leia, you better fucking hit that shit or you're fucked, dog. And then it's like, even if she's on the jury, with all the victims that have happened so far, like I don't know how much credibility she's gonna have in swaying the jury and stuff like that. You might be able to get away with it, maybe lose a vote or two. Maybe I have a bad read on this, but I don't know. I feel like there's definitely, you could get her out and not have too much of a backlash as long as you like, all right, bye, you wave that torch, later she's gone. I don't know. I don't know, but I would be scared of her too. I mean, the touchy subjects, boom, there you go. It kind of says everything. It kind of wraps it all up into one nice little bow. I mean, that's the way the game is going.
It also is an aspect that like Leia is an insanely good social player in an interesting way, right? So like in both season 1 and season 5, her strategy basically is, here are my people and I'm loyal to them to the end. And these other people, fuck them. I don't give a fuck about those people. Like she never tries to work with Tarowski, Thal. She wants those people just dead. And her whole strategy. People like Cooper are always trying to have relationships with everybody, kind of. Leia's strategy is like choose some people, make them insanely loyal to you to a fault. And like whether or not that's a good or bad strategy is up for debate, but I think it's clearly somewhat successful because it works. And like there's lots of people like Adam, Emily, Will. Adam, Emily, Will, and Jesse are 4 people going into the game who did not know Leia at all, who were like completely converted into Leia, you know, like aficionados through the game.
They didn't even watch season 1? Like going into All-Star season, they didn't watch the.
I think like they knew her, they knew of her, but like they weren't super tight with her. They weren't like on Leia's list, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah. I think seeing her too in season 1, it's like it's like just hard to picture Leia getting voted out. Like it's just like Leia is somebody who's just going to be in it for the long haul. You just kind of expect that coming in. So you're like, I want to hitch my wagon to that horse, whatever, and just ride it because I have a feeling Leia is going to go far. Like it's just hard for me to imagine like Leia being a pre-merge boo. Like that just doesn't feel right.
What do we think about?
I feel a little naive because I was like, dude, season 1's already out, season 2's coming out. Like those players, it's going to be somewhat of a disadvantage. But
I do think that was a thing where like pretty much everybody was pretty familiar with the broad strokes of each season, you know. Mm-hmm. So like it wasn't really like there were some. I would say if anything, there was some season 2 stuff like. Actually, one of the episodes where Nick was being like the most sneakiest was came out the same week he got voted out of All Stars, and some people have said that contributed to them wanting him out over Sarah. Was that they like had just watched that episode and were like, oh my god, Nick's too good. We can't like if we're gonna go against him, we need him gone now. We can't have him like around on the bottom to cause problems.
And he still didn't play that damn idol. We don't have to open wounds. It's okay. It's all right. Shit.
We already did it earlier.
Where do we feel like Bailey went wrong, I guess, in her, like, how could she have survived this week? Because early on in the episode, I think that, Matthew, you can speak to this as well. Bailey was in the jury chat, like, a pretty strong contender, I felt.
I feel like there was definitely no consensus. Like, Bailey didn't have a lot of haters. Crouch didn't have a lot of haters. Like, I don't think Bree had a lot of people standing her, but didn't have a lot of haters.
It felt for a long time like Bailey was like on the path to win because it felt like she was the person truly with both sides. And I think she's explained it in this episode that if she gets out Sam, she's like borderline guaranteed final 3 because she knows Cooper and Leia are going to keep going after each other. And as long as she has Crouch in the game, who will never vote for her at Final Four, worst she can get is the tiebreaker. So, like, she was pretty set if she could get rid of Sam this week, which isn't the same reason Cooper doesn't want that to happen. But, like, I don't know. She was in a really good spot, but I wonder, like, what could she have done differently to not, like, go home this week, you know?
Would it have been terrible if she had just, like, agreed to Bree? Do you think, like, A, it probably goes to rocks on Bree and, like, Bailey, depending on, like, who knows what plans and stuff like that, and it doesn't leave. I mean, does it still leave her in a decent spot, though, like, kind of in the middle?
The thing is, Crouch is going to rocks for Bailey. Like 100,000,000% he's going to rocks for Bailey.
And if Cooper plays his idol, then,
if Cooper plays the idol and Crouch is going to rocks for sure. I feel like.
I just want to know how much sway Bailey has in that jury.
Like when she's on the jury?
Yeah. So what happened? Wait, I don't know. I don't want to go too behind the scenes because I understand like there is a mask to be had, but like what happens like after tribal? Like does the jury just dip? All right, see you next week. Like
yeah, we usually kick them because because technically the jury's not supposed to see like the like post tribal shit.
Yeah.
So like after Emily B got voted off, Kevin and Lucy were trying to stick around and see some of the tea, and they saw a couple minutes of it, and then like somebody was like, "All right, you guys got to go." Like
yeah, that's
goodbye.
what we try to do.
I mean, they usually hang out and like once you get added to the group chat, like everybody scrolls to the top and like tries to get caught up on what's been being said. So like they definitely collaborate and talk. So
always an initiation. Is Bree gonna win this fucking season, dog? Like, does Bailey have the sway? Like, let's say it's like Leia and Sam. And there's this whole like, oh, Leia's list, you guys like had friends. I don't know. Fuck. Does Bree fucking win this shit, dude? I'm like, I have math. I have math here. I'm like talking shit about Bree so much. If Bree wins, I will buy a BTS poster. Okay, say that right now. I promise. I'll buy the most expensive one. I'll get it laminated. I'll get it hooked up. I don't care. I'll do it.
So who do you think?
I think she's moved on to another band, by the way.
Who is it now?
I don't remember, but I don't think it's them anymore.
Whatever.
Ronan, if you could rank the final five in terms of who you think is like most likely to win, from either like game standpoint or like meta game editing theory, whatever.
What I think. Okay, you want me to do editing? If for real?
Whatever. No, what you truly think. Like
I coming into the season, I wanted Megan to win. I did. And then, but after I was doing a rewatch of all the seasons in season 3, when Crouch goes out and Brady's like, or Brady or Dylan was like, he's going to go far. He's going to go far. That was like the last scene we see after Andrew was like, so all stars. I want to say Andrew has a good shot at winning, but I know, there's no winners edit and stuff like that. But what I want to see, I want to see Cooper and Leia. I want to see Cooper, Sam, and Leia in the end. And I want to see Sam make the tiebreaker. No, I want to see Leia make the tiebreaker. That's what I want to see.
Between Cooper and Sam to decide the game?
Yes, that's what I want to see.
Man.
That's what I want to see. I don't want Leia to win. I don't think that's a surprise. But I would love if Leia had that choice. That would be beautiful.
There it is.
There we go. That'd be great.
Tomorrow X Together. Never heard of them.
They're coming to Lollapalooza.
I always jinx myself, so I'm already gonna have the poster in my Amazon cart.
Maggie, watching this all back, like what about watching it has like surprised you the most, or like the thing that you knew, or who is surprised? I don't know, just in general, like what you thought going in, or was there anybody who watching it you're like, oh, it's surprising that this person was like this, or etc.
I don't know, to be honest. I feel like everyone's kind of doing what I would have expected from knowing them. I did think it was funny that the one tribal that I went to, like, because I came to visit that one weekend and I was like all excited to see everyone. And I brought a cooler to that tribal, and it was the one where like Cooper cried and I just had no clue. I like showed up in the bushes, had no idea what was going on. And I was like, why aren't people like excited to have this reunion? And it was like literally the shittiest tribal ever. So that was funny because I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. But I don't know. I feel like everyone's like honestly doing exactly what I would have thought. Like, I don't know, Cooper and Sam are being shady. Bree all of a sudden like doesn't give a fuck. Like Leia's being headstrong, Bailey's being direct. Like everyone's like amplified versions of themselves.
Matthew, like having been on production and stuff, what have your like overall thoughts been on like watching it back and just everything about it?
It's just as convoluted as I remember, kind of. I mean, I remember, being involved and being like, I should know what's going on. Like, I'm in all these chats, like I'm watching all these videos, like, how am I still confused? Like, are these people moving too fast for me? Like, yeah, they were like the end game, like, from Final 9 on is, every week is just kind of moving at light speed, and just a lot of people playing really hard, playing really well. Couple miscalculations here and there, but yeah, just really, really fun to watch back. And I will say the one regret that I do have, which I think I mentioned to you, Ian, is like, I feel like we could have made the challenges a little better. That's my only regret. Like, obviously I think we put on a great season, and it's, unfortunate that there was a slight production leak, I guess. But I think maybe we could have gone a little bigger and better with the challenges. There were still some good ones. But I think people still kind of, it still kind of gets across like how intense this is. Like, this is all stars. Like, this is the final 7, the final 6, the final 5. Like, stakes are super high. Like, this is the epic conclusion to 5 seasons, an entire like generations worth of Survivor. So I think that still comes across. So
yeah,
I want to
agree.
be too down on it. Like, I feel like the challenges when it comes down to everything is the least important part.
That's true.
Like, for College Survivor, for sure. But yeah, of course, like that hindsight, I guess, sure.
I want to applaud the editing too, Ian, because I love that you've showed so much of campus. Like, I love that the tribals have been and like challenge, like you've just like been all over Ann Arbor, and it's really sweet to see, like, to have that like time capsule of campus. So I've loved it.
I tried really hard with the B-roll in this season to like pay much more attention to it than I had before, and like include like as many different locations and like really have it. I really liked the like thematics of it going from this warm, summery, thing where everyone's happy. And if you watch the first episode, they're all so excited to be there and they're back for All Stars. So much fun. It's this warm summer thing. And then it slowly descends into this cold, bleak, like hellscape where people are freezing and they don't have their gloves and they're all crying all the time. Like, I just feel like that was like, it felt like a very good emotional like descent,
Yes.
Yeah. Who had the beach? Who did the beach thing? That
episode? Was me.
Was that Meg? Okay, I thought that might be. Okay, that was really good.
And the coffee one.
Yeah, the coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, people have been asking, how did you make that coffee thing?
It was like I just like woke up one day and then I sprinkled and then I.
Hell yeah.
It's a machine.
Oh. I was like, wait, what are we talking about again?
No, it was a machine. There, you could put whatever you want, and I was like, you know what, Ian would love.
So let me.
And I'm getting everything out of what I wanted out of this season, like straight up. Like, I'm getting Cooper versus Leia. I'm getting Andrew actually getting a run. I'm getting Megan with great confessionals, good screen time, and everything. The only thing I didn't get was Jesse's the first boot. And we can move on now.
You wanted Jesse's the first boot?
Yes. And it wasn't like
not a Jesse fan.
The first after show podcast, you're like, stop this Jesse hate.
I'm going to set Jesse's revenge on you, bro.
I know, man. Fuck.
But what do I see? A lot of people in the chat think Andrew is going to win. I'm curious, like, what people think his path is from here. Like, clearly it's, Bree, Sam, and Leia just voted together. Like, wondering if people think Andrew's got a shot. Like, what's kind of his path to the end? Because sitting here just based on where things ended, it kind of seems like him and Cooper are on the bottom. But I'm curious what people think is going to happen next. So, Ronan, I guess for you too.
We see Bree discussing taking out Leia. Do we think that's something that could come into play?
Leia versus Cooper, Final Four, fire making, slightly hinted or something hinted. I think he's just fucking with us. Okay. So I'm really bad at wrapping things into a bow for Andrew's game right now, especially going to the final 5. Maybe I wasn't the best person for this, but I do love the concept that Andrew was always behind Cooper for, like, not behind Cooper, but he was also seen as behind Cooper for most of this season. And now Cooper straight up like, yeah, Andrew's like the glue with me and Bailey. Like, shit, like, I'm kind of looking towards Andrew now. So it is great to see that dynamic change a little bit, and Cooper kind of have to rely on Andrew now more than kind of just having Andrew in his back pocket. And, I don't know. I can't say the Pringle idol is like done. Like he wins the game by that move because he doesn't. I don't think, but I just think if it comes to Andrew winning, I just hope in Final Tribal Council he just does not put a lot of emphasis on his first season and the Rocks. Like that is what I'm fearing. That he just brings that up a lot and he just beats a dead horse. I don't think anyone wants to hear that. And maybe that will be his downfall. Is he can't wrap his game up just the way I can't wrap his game up. And then I don't know what Maggie could say because she knows what happens. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember if the jury is bitter or not. I don't have a recollection. Do you think they will be?
I mean, if Bree goes down, well, you have Bree and Andrew, Bree and Adam pissed at Andrew too, being cocky the whole time. I mean, the whole season, Andrew's just been like, "I'm gonna get there to the end. I'm gonna get there to the
Which
end."
I
And
respect. It's a growth.
I respect it
mindset.
too.
Yeah,
I respect it too, and I think it's amazing.
I think
I also think
it's
there's
also,
a chance he goes out in 4.
With Andrew, it's one of those things where it's like it is partially a bit, but only
Yeah.
partially, you know.
I think
Yeah.
I was saying that during season 1. I was like, I'm winning the season. Like,
yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like Cooper's affirmations this week. He's like, they're doing it. Like it's the same shit. You're just like hyping yourself up.
How do you guys think about like how like Cooper is one of the most selfish Survivor players, right? Like for him to play the idol on somebody else and have it still not work out for him, I feel like must have been gutting in that moment.
There is a theme for Cooper. I can't put my finger on it, but there is something that's just so consistent between season 1 and 5. I can't exactly explain what it is, but I did appreciate Leia calling him out at Tribal.
Yeah.
For the female alliance. You know, it does suck when like females are put against each other, and I'm not saying Cooper did that at all in any deteriorating character way or anything like that, but it is good that Leia called that out because I think Cooper is his own worst enemy in a sense. Yeah.
I think it raises like a key question too, like back to the Emily B move. Like, was that a good move for Cooper? Like, all right, he's in the final 5, but he needed an idol, an immunity, Crouch giving him immunity. Like, he hasn't really had a ton of control since that move. So
no,
like,
Cooper has not voted correctly since that happened. And had 3.
I gotta see these Reddit forums because I know there's a bunch of nerds on that shit, like with all the stats and stuff and all the weird facts and
I gotta see.
I
like
I'm not one of those guys. I just love the show.
To call it out, I saw in the live thread today, Jacob K said he's been keeping a confessional counter. I need to see that after the season. I would be fascinated. That's something I really wanted to know for All Stars, but like I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like go through it and like I didn't have time to like do it all myself. But I would love to see that after the season.
Yeah, you need to call out some of these viewers. You like.
I just did. I'd love to see the. I'd love to see the.
Well, what I'm saying is like this dude is in like every comment section. Like I want to see him talk on this podcast. He definitely knows what he's talking about. You got to get that dude on.
This dude's got everything, bro. He's got everything.
That's awesome.
The confessional count, I feel like it's got to be like there's so many like spliced 1 second.
I know. I'm curious how it's even counted because it's different than regular Survivor in the way that works, right?
Maybe it has to be by clause. How many clauses did they say?
Yeah,
I think a 10
Shane,
second
get out of here with that
minimum. Yeah.
What else?
Oh,
I don't know.
I have just random thoughts.
What other thoughts do you guys have?
The Bailey saying I'm scared of frostbite, I'm actually concerned was like the most Bailey statement. I was dying.
Bailey competed in the steal the bacon in the snow. Like
I know.
Well, she might have had flashbacks to that with Maggie ripping her hair down and all of that.
I don't know what's worse, like being in the snow for 15 minutes or like being on a pole when it's freezing. Like,
yeah,
kind of harder to stand still. I don't know.
Yeah, Bailey and I are on a dodgeball team right now. And we've met like a lot of new people in the past 2 months. And it's really funny because they're like, oh, how'd you guys meet? So we've had to like tell that story like a disgusting number of times. And it's.
Did you show them the clip?
Oh, yeah. And it's like, it just hurts. But like we do it. You kind of have to. But
Did you see that clip went like
Just send them
semi-viral
the
like a few
timestamp.
yeah,
weeks ago?
I saw that.
And there was all these people on Twitter like watching it and commenting on it, like, what is this? Like, why are these college girls just like fighting in the snow and like screaming at each other? I was like, oh man, this is College Survivor, baby. Like, check it out.
Yeah, so funny. I thought that was funny. What else did I have? I put one more note. Oh, I love the instant replay.
Yeah, that was close.
Oh yeah, that
That
was
was-
funny.
I forgot about that, but
I'll be totally honest. I watched it from the Noah angle, from the other angle, and it looked to me like Crouch should have been out there. So it's a good thing he didn't win the challenge.
I think
because
like we just didn't get like his foot.
I
Like, the
think he
bottom got cut off,
probably
and
should have been out there, but it's all right because he
I think
lost
we knew
later
he
on.
wasn't long for it, so we were like, yeah, let's.
Yeah, he looked rattled for sure. The one thing is interesting is that like in Maryland, they talked this in the episode, they can last for like hours and hours on the polls. And both times we did this challenge, we did not get past like an
I
hour.
think our polls are different. I think
They must be.
Yeah,
Or our people are just weaker. I don't know.
could be either one. So yeah,
Okay, so that challenge was in season 3. It wasn't at final 6 though, right?
No, it was final immunity. It was final 3.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
I think
was
we
like, hold
thought
up.
the idea was, oh, let's do like, a final immunity challenge at final 6 basically and make them do, one of the crazy ones. Like, let's see how long they'll stand out there for, but earlier in the game.
That's what I'm very curious to see as the final challenge. If it goes back to that, I don't know who the fuck that guy is. I'm sorry, I don't know football.
No,
the
that's
statue.
fine. I mean, I think that's that clip at the end is meant to lead you to think it's a certain challenge. So,
that'd be
I'm not
dope.
gonna be too beat around the bush of that.
That'd be awesome.
I did
Another thing,
include
how
the
cold is it? How cold? Like, what temperature are we
Fucking
talking about?
cold, bro.
'Cause I grew up in Boston, but not Michigan, so I don't know.
Cold,
like
like
early December, right?
20s, 30s,
Shit.
cold.
But, yeah.
Plus
Now-
wind.
I'm in San Diego now, so it's all nice.
Yeah, plus wind. It was funny. There's like that is a pretty like common spot on campus. There were just random people walking by. Like, what the fuck is going? That's always the funniest. Is the random people who walk by are like, what the fuck is this? What is
think
this
we-
College Survivor? What is happening?
We wanted to do it in the season 3 spot, which is a little more off to the side where there are less people, but there weren't 6 light poles, so we had to go
Yeah.
to like a more crowded spot, which was kind of funny because people were just walking through the whole time. But
And it's a metal pole, so like I bet that was freezing.
Yeah, what do
I
you
just
think?
love College Survivor. And like, I don't know how many, like, not hecklers besides Tom, but like just random people being like, that shit's stupid. Like, has that ever happened when people just like walk by and say something like that? Because we've had people filming in San Diego and people drive by and be like, y'all are dumb as fuck. And we're just like, shut up.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I don't know if we've ever had any hecklers like that.
I wonder how many applicants you guys got from just doing shit like that, just out in the open.
It
Probably a
varied
lot,
by
right?
season, I feel like.
Yeah. Shit.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Matthew, do you remember like the top number of applicants we got?
I think it usually like went to like season 1 was definitely the most, and then it always kind of like went a little bit down and then plateaued sort of. But there were definitely, I feel like there were always people who would like come up and say like, oh, like, what is this? And then we like, oh, tell them to apply. And I don't know if anybody ended up doing it, but you usually feel like word of mouth and stuff.
I
But,
loved Leia's description in the episode too. She's like, we're trying to outlast each other to win a reward. Like that was her way of explaining what they were doing.
What did
To
you guys
knock
think
your
of
phone
Leia just really shit talking Cooper's strategy this episode? Where
That we talked about this earlier. That to me, like the way that she was describing his allies, I was like, it's honestly like accurate.
where they're not real allies, right? I thought that was very interesting. There's been a decent part of the back half of this season is like the core philosophy of Cooper and the philosophy of Leia and which one is like the right way to play. And there's a lot of like their tension comes down to like not just what's going on in the game, but on like a core fundamental level, they don't believe that the game should be played the way the other person thinks it should be played. And I think at different times they both have points. I think this week we saw that Leia had some fair points that like if you're in a real alliance, you're working together. And like Cooper, Bailey, and Andrew, I think it's interesting that after they walk back from the challenge together, they never meet up again. The three of them never meet. That at no point does Cooper go to Bailey at the end of the week. Like when Cooper's realized that Bree, Sam, and Leia are all voting together, like it's never even considered of like just getting him, Andrew, and like clearly there was a moment where Bree, Sam, and Leia are sitting in a room sometime in that day, like close to tribal. Cooper, Andrew, and Bailey should be sitting in a room as well, and it just doesn't happen. And like to me, for a long time, I've always thought like they should have never left that vote without just agreeing on a name. Doesn't matter what it is.
just flip a coin and it's either Bree or Sam, and somebody has to give. I don't know.
You need to do like a podcast for each individual player coming out of the season. The final five, I meant. Like we need a round table, if you will. You need a round table for sure.
With everybody. We're gonna have the finale after show is gonna be recasting crew reunion, and so there should be lots and lots of people on that. From potentially even across the different seasons, like where it's gonna be sort of a wrap up to the whole first era of Survivor Michigan. So yeah, look forward to that for sure.
So I mean, is Cooper's only way to win out from here on out?
What do you think? Do you think that Cooper is dead in any vote at 5 or 4 that he doesn't win? I mean,
I hate that it's just me. I hate that it's just me because
yeah, there was supposed to be more, but the other person was supposed to come on bailed on me. So
got like a bright fucking spotlight on me. Shit. I mean, dude, there's no way that Sam would ever team up with Cooper. There's absolutely no fucking way. There's like this little flirt thing, this little crush thing with Bree and Cooper in the beginning of the season. I bet she's over that shit though. I don't think she flips unless Leia comes around. Like I said, I would love Cooper, Sam, Leia in the end. I would love that. That would be my ideal final 3. Hell on Earth, Aaron, Leia, Bree. Aaron, Edge of Extinction, comes back out of nowhere, wins the game. That would be my hell on Earth, if I'm being honest with you. But in all seriousness, Cooper, Leia, and Sam. That would be great. And then
what do you think about Leia's fears? She's discussing like these parallels between season 1 and that conversation. I think if you watch it back, makes more sense in the context of them agreeing to vote off Bailey, because then Cooper and Andrew will both be in the game, and one of Cooper or Andrew is guaranteed to be a final 4. And Leia's explaining that like if either Cooper or Andrew wins the game, she will feel like it'll be the exact same thing as Tarowski and Thal, where she felt like she won final 6 and had it in the bag, and then somehow, some way, Tarowski won. And if either Cooper or Andrew does that, she'll feel like history repeats itself and fate controls everything, and all of this. Like
I feel like Andrew's probably the Tarowski. Yeah,
Andrew has some Tarowski. Which one is more of Tarowski? Like if they're Tarowski and Thal, which one's Tarowski? Which one's Thal of Cooper and Andrew?
Oh, okay. When we're throwing Thal into it, fuck. All right, then I think no, I'll say Cooper's probably Thal, and then Andrew's probably Tarowski. That's what I'd probably say.
Really?
That's what if I had to say. Kind of forget a little bit about Thal, if I'm being honest with you. the whole dynamic there. But yeah, shit. And then another thing too is Bree might cut Leia. That's another thing I highlighted in my notes. Is that Bree wants to cut Leia final 4. That's why I'm thinking maybe it's let's say Andrew goes out 5. We got Cooper, Leia, Sam, Bree. I didn't read what that said. Okay. Yeah, and then fucking maybe Cooper, Bree, Sam. I have like all this math lined up, but at the same time, now that I'm like speaking into existence, it doesn't sound right. Like this season really is just so unpredictable. I don't fucking know. And we didn't get any preview. So what am I supposed to think of now?
Yeah, I was like,
give me something to work with here.
Well, with the 2-week break, I was like, I can do a whole finale trailer. Like I don't need to put it at the end of this episode. Let's just let it be, and then we'll have our whole finale lead up.
Another thing too is I forget what season they started. Okay, they started at season 35. They started that you bring someone to Final Tribal Council. That's not the same time as this. No, like there was never any discussion like, hey, we should do it like the way the show does it. Like let's have a.
I feel like we all agree that twist is bad and that
it sucks. It sucks overall.
I feel like Survivor Michigan would never do that.
I don't think any college survivor should do it.
I just don't see why a college survivor would ever do that. And I certainly don't think that we at Michigan would do something like that, to be honest with you.
The reward element is kind of missing.
I think it's just like everyone agrees the twist is bad, so it like shouldn't be done basically.
Oh, it's okay. We're gonna get it anyway this season, so it's fine. We're gonna get
in real CBS, yeah.
A 1v1 with Cooper and
Cooper
Leia. So that's coming too.
For sure.
But
do you think they're the only 2 philosophies?
I think those are the two most opposing philosophies. I don't think those are the only philosophies. I think those are the two most opposing philosophies, and everybody else falls somewhere in between
Interesting.
in this season.
If Sam
Uh,
touches that jury, without even knowing Sam, I feel like Sam just like would just destroy a jury when it comes to actually getting there and making a case. That's another thing is like I just hope Cooper doesn't bring up the host thing a lot because everybody knows that. We don't have to discuss that. Everybody knows that it's pretty insane that he gets to the end. And then I want to see how many eye rolls we get when Leia makes her case and then her coming in second or third. That's what I'm waiting to see. I'll take a shot of juice or something because I don't drink. But for every eye roll we get.
Maggie, so you were the fan favorite of season 2, you know, to a large degree, I think, or at least one of them. How do you feel the fan favorites of Sarah and Megan this season lived up to your fan favorite name?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a weird question.
Then who do you think represented the Maggie energy the most on this season? Like, who do you think was bringing the most like chaotic energy, or I don't know? How do you feel like, or I guess how do you feel like?
You know who I thought was chaotic was Megan.
Well, there you go.
I thought Megan was like, just like, I don't even know, like just doing some weird shit. Like she was like scraping to get by. So some of her moves were definitely, they felt like they had that same like I'll just fucking do it kind of, you know what I mean?
How do you feel like you would have
he's
fared
right.
on this season?
No one will compare.
Me?
Yeah, if you had played, how do you think you would have done with all these people?
Actually, you know who I loved? Actually, I don't know. That's hard to say. Like, you know, I don't know. But like I loved Kevin. Kevin's take when he exited was like one of my favorite things. I was like, he called out so much shit. Like that was one of the most iconic, like he was spitting fire.
Kevin had a great exit. Kevin, I think more than anyone, Kevin, like him and Leia came and they said, "This is how I'm going to play," and they lived up to exactly what they said they wanted to do. In different, you know what I mean? Like Kevin was like, "I'm going to be chaotic and torch as many people as I possibly can."
Yeah,
and that's what he did.
Maggie, I feel like you would have done great on this season, especially with all the season 2 people doing great. Right? You would have mixed in there somehow.
Maggie, would you have been on Leia's list?
Yeah,
I would have been. I would have flirted the hell out of that list.
Would you have been on Leia's list?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you have started on it, or would you have had to like work your way onto it?
It's if I had been in Ann Arbor and I knew I was playing All Stars, like I would have been gaming since the second, like you know what I mean? Like I would have been gaming since I went home from season 2.
Yeah.
Like no shot I'm not like
So you're still in the game at Final 6 because you're on Leia's list.
I don't know about that. I definitely like would have stirred the pot though. People would not have wanted me there.
Matthew, how are you doing on this season? What's realistically?
Yeah, because Matthew, you chose not to play on this season because
right?
you
That's
played season 4 because you didn't want to play on All Stars.
Yeah, why
true,
didn't
that's
you?
True. Because I wanted a challenge. Because All Stars would have been too easy. So I was like, no.
Was Brady offered season 4 too? Like, what if he's not going to do
Brady
this?
always wanted to be the host. He just didn't want to play.
Okay.
I think it would have depended on what tribe I started on. Like, I definitely could have been an early boot, but if I had I think like I probably would have tried to do what a lot of people did and kind of like, you know, use my connections with like Sam or Cooper to use their connections to kind of get me further. Like I would have worked with Crouch, like Paddock and Will. I would have definitely tried to work with. So I think I would have tried to work with Tom, but he would have tried to screw me over. So probably I would have gotten screwed over by Tom, honestly, at some point. Maybe at like the final 4, Tom would have screwed me over. I bet that's how it would have gone. So
I feel like if there was any season 1 player to get screwed by the show, it might have been you with the confessionals. Maybe.
Actually, you guys, I think I would have been the host if I was around.
I think you would have been a fire host.
Yeah.
Co-host with Brady.
That would have been hard to
challenge. I would have hosted on my own.
Ian, what if we had thrown you in there and said we'll produce the season for you? You just go have fun,
too.
play
with you. I could
Leia.
have helped.
You let me. Yeah. I think that I feel like I would have. That's what I mean. I tried to apply for season 4, right? And then Cooper cut me because he didn't want there to be a chance to be playing on All-Stars. Because it was known, you can see this kind of in the season that like my roommates were so anti-Cooper and wanted Cooper out like the entire game. And so like they were telling Crouch every second, like vote him out. And like that's all. And my entire application for season 4, all of it was just about how I was going to get on All-Stars and tank Cooper's game immediately. And that's why I was like, yeah, I'm going to play season 4 and win easily, obviously. And then I'll just go on All-Stars and just tank Cooper's game, make sure he doesn't win. And so Cooper saw that and was like, every single question was like, why do you want to play? I was like, so I can destroy Cooper. And Cooper saw it and was like, no chance in hell I'm letting this guy get anywhere. I'm sure he wasn't sure if it was a joke or not, but Cooper's the kind of guy where he can't risk that. He can't risk the chance of me playing season 4, the chance of me getting on All-Stars, the chance of it hurting him in any capacity. He spent years cultivating all these people, manipulating them to all play All-Stars. He can't have some wild card roommate coming in and causing problems.
Would you have actually targeted him, or would you try to work with him? I feel like you would have tried to work with him.
I think that if I had just been thrown into All-Stars, like I would have maybe, I don't know. I'm sure I would have just worked with him, honestly.
Which is so funny to hear.
Because I would have known too. I would have had so few connections if I did like the video guy.
4.
Yeah, if I didn't do season 4, we're just having the video guy.
4,
You're saying if I did do season 4?
Yeah, got like 7.
I feel like I'm working with like the season 4 people. It's like me, Jackson, Megan, Adam.
Yeah.
And I'm probably working with Cooper. I'm probably working with like people like Sarah and Akshay, who were like producers on season 2.
Or Jesse.
Those are the people I went back with farthest, honestly.
Why didn't we get the tire challenge? What, like, I feel like that was like the most iconic challenge. Is it too dangerous?
I don't know why we didn't do that one this season. I feel like
you told me it's scrapped from now on, huh? Like it's banned, right?
That's a potential future Survivor Michigan thing.
Yeah.
No comment on what may or may not happen.
Sometimes one generation bans a challenge and another generation unbans it.
Yeah, it wasn't banned during our era. That would have to be some future events. Can't speak to what would cause that to happen. I guess you got to keep watching the show.
Oh god.
I don't know what else. Any other notes you guys had in your note sheets of anything we did not address? Oh, yeah, you can see also, talking about other roommates, a bunch of my roommates tried to play Survivor. My roommate, Ben, Grillmaster Ben, he was referenced in the thing. He applied twice, and both times did not get on. It was very upset about it.
You got his cameo.
They got their cameos, yeah. A lot of cameos in this one.
I'm honestly, even though I have my complaints, which I know you want to hear. I know you want to hear the complaints.
Oh, yeah.
I love this season. I love this season, if I'm being honest with you. It's everything I wanted. And a little bit more. And I truly mean this by when I say, like, I will be happy with any outcome as long as it's not Brie. As long as it's not Brie, I will be happy with any outcome. I bet Leia will come around and do something in the last episode, and I'll have to eat my words. Whatever Leia wants me to do too, if she wins, I'll do it. Whatever she wants me to do, I'll buy whatever she wants, and I'll put it up on my wall. I'll eat my words for it. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand the Cooper hate this season in the comments either. I don't get that. Maybe I'm just a little biased because Cooper was like one of my favorite characters in season 1. So I don't know.
I feel really isn't the Cooper hate because he like is in such a place of privilege?
Yeah.
I think partially. I don't know. I think a lot of people also are rooting for him though at this point. They've come around. It's honestly, I remember I always thought that people would really, really hate on him for turning on the Girls Alliance, which I feel like because people dislike the majority so much, they didn't have a huge issue with him doing that. But for a long time, we were like, oh yeah, people are going to hate Cooper for going against the Girls Alliance and like stopping that Girls Alliance from steamrolling the game. Like people are going to be so mad at him about that. But turned out the complete opposite. People were like cheering him on for flipping on it. So sometimes you never know the way it's going to work out.
If you want to be a fan favorite, you really just need to be an underdog. That really helps.
Yeah, if you want to be a fan favorite of the show, you got to play badly. That's like how you become the fan favorite.
Get yourself up on the bottom, and
you got to get yourself on the bottom. Yeah. Unless you're Maggie. Maggie was pretty much on the top most of the game, and then just like got taken out. I guess Jack should have played his idol on you.
You should have not had the targeting challenge my week.
I don't even remember what dude. I haven't watched season 2 in so long. I'm gonna do a full
Was
rewatch
that
one. I'm
the
gonna after
tennis
it's all
ball
done.
one? Yeah.
After I
Yeah, it
finish
was like the one where
finale,
they could literally just not have me win.
it was like the balls or something,
Yeah,
right?
it was like a one where you could like target someone. That
Yeah.
We
blew.
probably wanted to change it, but we wanted to keep our integrity and not change it just
I
because we wanted you
know.
to stay in.
I
But
understand. Happens.
After
I blame Jack.
after All Stars is over, I'm gonna go on like a Survivor Michigan detox for a long time, and then after that, I'm going to like rewatch a year from now. I'm gonna rewatch all the seasons, and I'll like reabsorb the whole thing. Because honestly, I don't even remember like season 2 and 3 that well at this point. It's been so long since I edited them.
Yeah.
Any
craziness.
Matthew, you got any thoughts on the just kind of how it's all wrapping up? This is.
I mean,
This
it
is
is really sad. This
the
is
end of the line kind of for all of us in a certain way,
yeah,
right?
this is why I wanted to do this one because this is kind of the last like regular episode. Like the finale is a beast in of itself, and it's gonna kind of wanted the finale to be all about the former like the players and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, it's the culmination of however many episodes and years and stuff like that. And there's definitely a next generation, and I think season 6 is really really good. I was around for season 6, really good season, but this is kind of the end of the first generation. So kind of it all culminates next week in a really epic conclusion. So sad to see it end, but also excited that it'll finally be able to share it with everybody and talk about the entire season all the way through. So
we gonna get a little trailer at the end of this, a little trailer, like a little snip of like season 6.
No promises. I don't. You'll have to keep watching to see. No promises, but we do like our teases,
It's just Camila. Everyone's like, yes! Like no one's even talking about the finale.
It's just a picture of Camila. That's it.
Watch season 6.
This Eminem, guess who's back?
No, that was Matthew's thing.
I know. That's I mean, thank you for bringing me on, as always. Thank you. I just wish I had somebody else to bounce off of.
Yeah, it might be. The scheduling got a little rough near the end here.
Those Michigan State kids, they're fucking smart. I like them.
Yeah, I was hoping I could get a couple of them on tonight, but they apparently have a tribal council tonight, so they were busy.
Oh.
What? They were like, yeah, no Survivor Michigan for us tonight. We got Michigan State going on. I was like, okay.
I will say a little tease. Something that might be in the works is two rival Big Ten schools, big rivals on the football field that both have survivors that might be doing a little something sometime in the next month or two. There might be some all-stars. Who knows?
When is that?
Interesting.
I don't know if it's officially official yet, but I think it'll some more details will be made known soon. So I'll just say that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess one question I have, because I have the chance to actually talk to Matthew. What's up, dude? By the way, what was like the worst boot for you so far this season? Like the one that hurt your soul. I've only not cried. I've only teared up with one person of mine getting voted out, like in our show, and I just want to know if you've ever been close to like, dude, I actually feel fucking bad.
I think
I know Ian's as well. I know Ian's as well.
I wonder if his is also Will.
I think it's Akshay or Will. Like they were both that. Like Akshay was the worst because it was like
Akshay was devastating.
Tribal, like we knew how much. Like Akshay was like, Matthew, like how much this hurts, and I was like, I do. I can't imagine how much this hurts right now. Like Will was devastated too. Like that was hard. So I'd say Will and Akshay, like both of them, like good friends with both of them, and I knew how much they cared, and the way they both went out was pretty brutal. So
I think that Akshay is part of what made it so devastating. It was like the realization of how hard it was going to hit everybody. Because all these people have been waiting so many years for this, especially somebody like Akshay who've been around since the very beginning, and we'd all known all these years, and he'd produced all the seasons and put so much into the club, and I remember just seeing him afterwards was just so devastating. I agree with you. His because it was the first, and it was just like, oh my god, this is what it's gonna be like for everybody, and so eventually you get desensitized to it. But Will's just because it felt the most senseless violence. It felt like he had done nothing to deserve it, really, and that
Will started singing.
Oh my god, it felt like by all rights it just should not have been him. But
Akshay should be proud.
And I stand by Will. I think Will was set up so well in this game. I think the Will boot is one of the key turning points of the entire game. Again, the repercussions of it changes absolutely everything. Leia has told me multiple times that she feels like her closest ally in the game would have been Will and not Cooper or Sam if Will had stayed in the game. That's how close they were getting. And like Will just had all these different connections and all this, and like I would have loved to know what happened if Will stayed in. But I do love how his whole storyline parallels Ben, though. They're always like paralleled. Ben in season 4 has a very similar storyline to Will in season 5.
How's Ben doing? Is he on production for this season?
Yeah, he was on production. He's in the
Hell yeah.
credits. You can see him. He was at challenges and stuff. Ben may make a physical appearance, perhaps in in the finale. Who's to say? Who's going to pop up? We may see a lot of old friends here and there in the finale. As I said, I've seen it as like the culmination of 5 seasons, and the attempt is to draw it together and to make it really feel like. And I think it's going to do this. There's still work to be done in it. It's close to being finished though, and there's a few scenes that I'm like, when I watch them, it kind of hits me, and I'm like, this does feel like how I wanted it to feel. Like it's like you could watch episode 1 of season 1 all the way to this episode and feel like it was one continuous like storyline.
And I'm so proud of you, man. Like as soon as you click export, it is gonna be the craziest
you're
feeling
so close.
ever.
I don't know, dude. I think like it'll be like simultaneous like relief and also like sadness. Like it'll feel so sad at the same time,
Good for you, man.
Well, should we reveal what we're doing?
The winner? Yeah, let's do it. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not really a reveal, but after you're done crying, we'll be in Vegas.
Yeah, there's a group of people going to Vegas. This has been talked about on Keep Your Torch Lit. So the finale after show will be live from Las Vegas. So yeah, and we're gonna have people Skyping in as well. I'm gonna try and get as many people as possible on that after show for the finale.
Stealing one of my producers that week.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks.
How long is it gonna be? I will say that we will release the runtime of the finale before it comes out.
Who the fuck is not calling off of work? I have work called off like 3 weeks ago. As soon as you released the date, I had it called off.
Yeah, the date, April 21st. We will release the runtime of it beforehand. Not quite yet because it's not quite set yet. But the aim is for it to be somewhere in like the 2 to 2.5 hour range. That's like the aim. I don't think it'll realistically be much shorter than that, but that's kind of like the aim. I did have a cut last week that was over 4 hours long. So, that's one day people could watch, like the Harris cut, the Snyder cut, the 4 hour long version, but it will not be that long. I'm working very diligently to cut stuff out and make it shorter, But
I just have a small pitch. You got to do one of those cuts where it's like you have the cast on the mic as the episode's happening. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, that's funny. Like where they're like being like, "Oh, that was stupid of me."
Yeah, like, oh, look at how stupid he looks right now. Oh, remember when you like fell and it wasn't caught on camera? You know what I'm talking about? You gotta do something like that.
Yeah.
Like the final 5.
Yeah,
unless they hate each other now.
Doing commentary.
We'll just record. We'll record everyone listening to it live, and then we can release that.
Some DVD commentary would be hilarious.
Yes.
I've joked about like, I don't know how much work this will be, but at some point I want, at least just for myself, like to make Survivor Michigan DVDs. Like I want to be able to have it on my shelf and be able to like, what if YouTube goes down one day or something? Like I want to be able to just put it in my Blu-ray player. Just this is the Survivor Michigan, the complete series. Like I don't know what that would cost me to figure out how to make a custom DVD. But
where's the merch at? Where's the merch at? I mean, I don't know how legal
this is the right crew.
Where's the merch?
That's something I'm probably gonna do. I'm gonna work it out
stickers,
somehow for myself at least.
I could see like a navy and white tie-dye shirt with the logo. I would wear that.
I mean, I have my poster here. The entire before the season, really nice. Like some of the people organized one of the All-Stars posters made by Eric Reichenbach. The entire cast signed it and like they sent it to me, and so that was pretty cool. So I have that on my wall. With if any of them ever get famous, I'll have whoever.
Did you get all 21?
Sarah. Yeah, everybody signed it.
Wow.
Yeah, which is wild. So that was pretty nice of them because some of them like Jackson, that's the only support he showed this season. So props to him for doing that. I love Jackson, so I thank him for signing the poster, even though he was not super happy with production for All Stars and all that.
Shit, man. Gotta get some buffs too, all-star buffs.
Yeah,
I feel like other college survivors have better buffs than us. I see like some of them, like Scotty Survivor and like you guys. I
They're
feel like the
very
buffs
nice.
they look nicer quality than ours, which are just
Yeah, I don't-
bandanas.
Oh, we just have bandanas. I mean, I'm looking at them, but they're fucking expensive. Yeah, you're winning.
Some of these guys have bigger
You know what
budget
you
than us.
can
Our
do?
budget was nothing.
I
crazy.
talked about this at one point. So for all the college survivor, if they want to do like this art project, you can print patterns on fabric at Joann's for like very cheap. So if someone made a pattern and then just cut it, like you could have the buff look for very cheap.
Who the heck is Joanne? I have no idea what that
Joann
is.
Fabrics, the store.
Yeah, the store.
See, that's what I would have done
I
if I
got
was
you.
around. I would have like artified the whole thing. I would have been like, "You're wearing blue today. I don't care if you have a paper. You're wearing
We should
blue."
have picked their outfits like Real Survivor. That would have been funny.
Ian, get one clip. Someone in the corner of the room who I don't know is coming along for the trip, and they're just there for the finale. Have them record like the last votes, just like the
There's
reaction.
everybody sitting there like crying as it ends.
Like whoever's brother is coming, who doesn't give a fuck about the show, just be like, "You sit here and you fucking are filming us, okay? Just do that."
That's what
Yeah.
tripods are for.
That's honestly a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
I'm
guys
sure
don't use tripods
We have at
unless
least
it's a
one
nice
person
camera.
there who like loves to like take some videos, so I'm sure we'll have some videos for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Cody,
Fucking
yes.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no. Any last thoughts before we get going? Ronan, final predictions or anything?
All right. So I've been saying Cooper, Leia, Sam. That's my final three. I think I just need to see a little bit more from Sam. And then I'll say Sam wins this season. I guess I'll say Sam. Cool. Sam, Cooper, Leia. And then fucking Andrew makes it to Final Four. Cocky can't make it to the end. And then Bree goes on next. I don't have the math to show you why I came up with that, but I'm pulling that out of my ass right now. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying Paddock, Tom, Akshay. Final three.
Let's do it.
Bailey wins.
Bailey comes back. Yeah, that's fine.
Maggie, plug your business. Apparently. Oh, I got.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I got right here? Is my fuck, this actually has my address on it. Okay. But Maggie or somebody signed me up for Maggie's company, and I get these in the mail all the time. There's like a
Mega Mafia, that's the address.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. You can buy my
anyways,
book online.
Basically, I get these in the mail. So if you want your Maggie art, you can go to bondandgrace.com and get whatever this is. I don't even know. No offense, Maggie. I stopped like reading these. I just like throw them out basically.
I know. Sam subscribed you at our last spring break.
Right,
trip.
and I couldn't figure out how to unsubscribe. I was the first one I opened. I was like, "What the hell is this?" It's like
What's
a
funny
message.
is it literally says on every letter how to unsubscribe. If you read it, you would know.
That's tough.
But
Yes, this is it. We actually, so like Eric is kind of buddies with Sam, and also like his company, his Dabu Doodles just like commissions work. So like we commissioned Eric for these posters. He's very nice to us because we kind of know him obviously a little bit from season 4 and stuff. But I worked with him, and I had kind of a vision of sort of what I wanted it to look like. And then he did like 95% of the work, but I just told him, oh, this person has this person has this, basically. Like Emily B, the lemon, and Leia, her list and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's how Eric knew all the spoilers to include.
We got to get some prop bets going into the next episode. Like, will Eric Reichenbach host the final challenge?
I would love to see that prop bets on like cameo appearances and like just
what does Ben
who
say?
wins, like who
I
wins the
want to see
season.
that like the iceberg with all the like. Remember that from
Conspiracies.
Oh, I would
It
love
had
to
all
see a
the-
Survivor
I want to see a
Michigan,
new
Survivor
one. Someone
Michigan
has got to
iceberg.
make that.
Because
I
there's
want
been
a
some
new.
great conspiracy theories about this season. I saw one of my favorite ones in the Discord was that Sam was going to be obviously get blindsided by Emily B in an upcoming episode, and that was the reason Emily B had a bad edit in season 3 was because someone had noticed that Sam was in the credits on helping edit season 3, and someone was like, Sam was clearly salty with her because in the timeline All Stars was filmed before season 3 was edited. So somebody was like, oh, he was clearly mad at Emily B, and then like got Ian to tank her edit in season 3 and not have a lot of scenes of her. I was like, this is the funniest conspiracy theory ever.
Oh shit.
confirmed
Yeah.
100% true. Yeah.
Ian, you know those memes where it's like, woo, this is the biggest piece of dog shit. I'm gonna do that for every player. Every player.
That's
I'll
good.
make sure to get Abby in there too. Overall, though, thank you, Ian, always for bringing me on, man.
Oh, no problem, dude. Great to
Hey,
have you.
one more
and-
question, Ronan.
What's good?
What do you expect not to see in the finale? Like, what is one thing you would bet your life does not happen?
Leia doesn't win. Leia doesn't win. There's no
You don't.
way.
You think that Leia doesn't win?
Leia does
Is that
not
what
win.
you're saying?
Leia does not win.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did I phrase it weird? Yeah, Leia doesn't win. Oh,
So
sorry, my bad. Fuck. What I'm not gonna see? Fuck, dude. What are you teasing? I don't fucking know.
I want to know because you're betting on like you're like, oh, if like this happens, this. Like I want to know like what is the one thing you do not
Okay.
think will happen?
I do not think. Can I say what I do think is gonna happen?
No, I want to know what you think isn't gonna happen.
Man,
Isn't that kind of the same thing?
No, because I want to hear it. Because how funny would it be if that happened?
okay.
No pressure.
Dude, you're making me nervous now. I don't know. I don't think Leia's gonna win.
Okay,
And
that's
I
good.
believe 100% there's gonna be a final fire making challenge. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Okay. All right.
Like I will die on that sword. That's what I think is gonna happen. I know it
Okay.
kind of goes against what you're saying, but
no,
at
you
the same
said
time,
you said your thing you don't think will happen is Leia winning.
yeah, Leia will
Okay.
not win, and there will be a final fire making challenge. I don't know who, but yeah,
Okay.
we'll
got
say
it.
that. And then someone can come
Yeah.
and smack me upside the head if that shit happens. All right. Leia, do not find my house, okay? I'm moving
He
back to
is a
Boston soon.
Marine.
You will not find me. Cool. That's all I got.
Any last thoughts from either you, Mr. Tokidoki, or Mags?
I'll just say thank you to the fans for going on this journey with us. Glad we were able to share it with you. So sad it's coming to an end for All Stars, but we appreciate the ride that you guys took with us. So.
Yeah, that's sweet. And I'm just really proud of you, Ian. I know I say this, but and like it does get me emotional. I can't say too much, but I'm like creatively, like the things I'm seeing are like the B-roll, like all that like effort that sometimes goes unnoticed as like an artist or a creative. I'm seeing all of it, and I'm just like so impressed at all the editing, like the storylines, the interjections with different characters doing different things. Like you have created a work of art, and I'm just really proud of you. It's really hard. Like it's hard to edit one reel that's 10 seconds, and he's got like hours and hours. And I know it's like a whole team, but I'm like, God, making one little reel, the amount of edits to do what you guys have done is like, it blows my mind for it to even make sense a little bit, and it's beautiful. So
I literally wouldn't have my best friends right now if it wasn't for watching Survivor Michigan season 2 as the first season. So there you go. I mean, the people I have in my life now, because I know that some fucker in college ran around and like filmed and then edited shit, dude. Like, come on, man. So I know we're making your head big and shit like that, but I hope when you pump out a few tears after that final like credit scene, I just know it you should, man. You should
I'll be like this.
Yeah. I hope.
Send that shit directly to me.
I hope people tear up, the people who were a part of it and the people, everybody watching, everybody involved in this, from the cast, the players, the crew, all the other college Survivor people we've met through this, the fans, obviously, like all the people who watched this made it into what it was and like encouraged us to keep going with it. You know, like if people didn't watch it, I don't think there would have been as much of a motivation to keep doing it. But because people cared so much about it, that made us put more passion into it. It's like a positive feedback loop. And so, you know, I think that, I hope everybody just watches the finale and enjoys it and feels like this was like a journey that they're happy they went on. I don't remember where I heard this, but I heard somewhere that any good ending should do 3 things basically in a story. Like it should make people laugh and cry and wish that it wasn't ending. And so that's what I hope people take away from the finale and from like All Stars as a whole, was that, you know, I hope that the biggest point of it over was just like a celebration of the journey itself, you know, and like these people and all the people who got us where we are, which is all the people watching and you guys and you know, everybody basically.
The
So
beauty of the ending is like when Survivor Michigan season era 1 dies, to be dramatic, it is going to create all the nutrients that are serving all these other communities. So the beauty of death is that it does support other ecosystems. So
right, and this is not like the end of Survivor Michigan, you know, by any
season,
means.
I mean, era 1.
Yes, I know. It's like, yeah, I've compared it to Avengers Endgame a bunch of times. Like, you know, there's a whole new cycle of Marvel movies, and there's a new cycle of new people and all this stuff. But I'm sure it won't be the same, and I'm sure it will be
That's supposed
better
to
in
be.
some ways and
Yeah.
you know, worse in others, and that's just what it is. It'll be different, right?
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it'll be different, and so that's
Yeah, those college survivors are popping up everywhere now, dog.
yeah, that's
Every,
also
like,
crazy.
month,
Like
it's just
when
like
I
Survivor,
feel
some
like
fucking town
we
I've
have
never heard
been the
of.
bridge between like when Survivor Michigan started. Like there was a couple, like, you know, there was Boston, there was Ohio State, there was UVA. I think those all predated us, and Maryland was the big one. But that was really it. There was not like tons and tons and tons of them, and now there's like so many, and it's kind of amazing that it's just we've watched the community like grow, and that's been really, really, really amazing to see. You know, it's just been a cool intercollegiate thing that we've all gotten to be a part of, I feel like, and meet
So
people from
cool.
all different places, you know.
And it's
I
so
mean-
easy to start it because all they have to do is like watch this season of Survivor Michigan. They're like, and people applying are like, oh yeah, this is not fucking weird. It's not crazy. It's actually doable, you know?
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
Cody, yes, I do get scared about people accidentally leaking stuff on these all the time. But it
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. So
I mean, yeah, when I signed up to play Survivor Michigan back in the day, I was like, this is going to be a joke. I'm never going to see these people again. I'm going to be absolute chaos. Fuck them all. And now I'm like going on vacation with you guys. So it's just like brings everyone together. It's really sweet. And I'm very thankful for the community that you have generated and upheld through your creativity.
I am
And
an
up with the
emotional.
sadness
sorry.
stuff.
I was about to say I'm an emotional motherfucker, and if I cry in, I will text you directly. I
Okay,
will
let me
send
know.
you the tear on
then
the
I'll
ground.
know. Then I'll know if I got you. If you laughed, if you cried, and if you were like, "Oh damn, I'm bummed this is the last episode,"
And I will show
Then
you the
I'll know
receipts
that
of
I-
whatever
this.
poster I
then I'll
buy.
know that I succeeded.
For every tweet that a Survivor Michigan fan tweets of them crying, I will Venmo you $1.
Oh, shit.
Ooh,
Oh,
I'm gonna
God.
put that out on
That's
Twitter.
the
and,
return of Maggie's Venmo. From
I'll
season
pay
2.
it forward.
You need a selfie to prove it. You're just gonna
Yeah,
bump
it
a
has to
fucking
be you
random picture.
crying, and you have to
To go-
tag hashtag Survivor Michigan All Stars.
This is gonna be a long and too short next 2 weeks for me. Like, you know, I'm sure I'm gonna be going through withdrawal after it's over. So, you guys are gonna. It's good. I'll be happy.
enjoy some rest, Ian. So
I expect to have
plan
to
to,
gamble
yeah.
to pay you guys back. So
I want to just like sit back. I gotta catch up on like TV and like I'm so behind on so many.
Ian's
things.
gonna get drunk at Vegas.
Oh,
You
yeah.
No.
I'll make sure of that.
You talk about withdrawals.
No,
that kind
no.
of withdrawal. Ian's gonna be hungover.
No,
gotta go
No.
back and
no. Survivor Michigan's always been an extremely dry organization,
We're
as you can
super
tell
wholesome.
from the show. There's been definitely no drinking on Survivor Michigan.
What? I know.
Yes. Well, my last ending thought is that Leia from season 1 looks like Ellie from The Last of Us.
The long-haired Leia does look like her and Cooper look so much younger in those
Yeah.
clips. It's crazy.
I was like, yeah, I was like, is that Ellie?
Bailey also in the ones from season 2 looked like significantly younger, I thought, than she does in All Stars.
I'm excited for the cameos.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. As always, thank you to everybody watching this. And I hope you've enjoyed the season so far. And I hope you enjoy the finale and, you know, just take the next 2 weeks to just like, you know, think about Survivor Michigan and, you know, reflect on the past what is it, 4 years? Yeah, 4 years the show's been coming out, 5 years that we've been working on it. And yeah, just enjoy the last ride, because it will be changing. It will be changing. So
Yep.
Thank you, Ian.
see you guys
Thanks for
soon.
having us.